Hi, I'm PokeTips Mike, and the Pokemon franchise now has well over 800 different species of Pokemon. When the developers design these new Pokemon, they often use real-world things as inspiration. For example, Caterpie was inspired by caterpillars, Zigzagoon was inspired by raccoons, and Vanillux was inspired by deluxe vanilla ice cream cone? But it's not just insects, wild animals, and food that inspire Pokemon designs. Even some real people have served as inspiration for Pokemon. Today, I'm going to be talking about Pokemon that were inspired by real people, whether it be by design or name. So my friends, sit back, relax, and tap that like button if you haven't already, and let's start things off with a pretty well-known example, the Hitmon family. In English, the name for Hitmonlee is based off of the legendary martial artist and movie star Bruce Lee. Lee was famous for many movies such as Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon. And in Japan, Hitmonlee was also named after someone, but not Bruce Lee. In Japan, Hitmonlee actually has the name Sawamular, and I apologize if I mispronounce that. I do not speak Japanese, I could barely speak English. Anyway, the name Sawamular is based off of the famous kickboxer Tadashi Sawamura. This man had the nickname the Demon of Kickboxing due to his exceptionally high knockout percentage of 94.6. And just like Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan was also named after famous martial artists. In English, Hitmonchan is named after movie star and martial artist Jackie Chan, who appeared in over 150 films. He also had a TV show that I used to really like when I was younger called Jackie Chan Adventures. Let me know if you remember that show in the comments. And in Japan, Hitmonchan is named Ebi Walar in reference to Japanese world champion boxer Hiroyuki Ebihara. Again, I am so sorry if I mispronounced those names. Now, interestingly, Generation 2 added two new Pokemon to the Hitmon family, Tyrogue and Hitmontop. Now you would think since Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are named after people, Tyrogue and Hitmontop would be named after people as well. And while you might be able to make a stretch and say that Tyrogue is named after Mike Tyson, it seems more likely that Tyrogue is named after Tyke like a child and Rogue like a fighter, and Hitmontop is more inspired by spinning tops than any real person. So it looks like the trend ended with Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Who do you think would win in a fight? Bruce Lee and Hitmonlee, or Jackie Chan and Hitmonchan? I think that would be pretty crazy to watch. Next, we have a very interesting Pokemon, Kadabra. While this hasn't officially been confirmed by Nintendo, Kadabra seems to be inspired by magician and psychic Uri Geller. Geller was famous for his TV performances, which often included bending spoons with his mind. Now, I'm not exactly sure I buy his claims, but it is a pretty neat trick. Kadabra, the psychic Pokemon which uses spoons, has the Japanese name of Youngurer, which when written down in Japanese looks similar to the written translation of Geller's name. Now, Geller wasn't exactly too happy about possibly being turned into a Pokemon. In fact, he tried to sue Nintendo, claiming that Nintendo turned him into an evil occult Pokemon character. As far as I know, an agreement has not been made over this lawsuit, and in the aftermath, Kadabra has been suffering in the Pokemon world. Kadabra hasn't been printed as a Pokemon card since 2003, and hasn't made any anime appearances since 2006. Also starting in 2006 with the Japanese release of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Kadabra was impacted in the world of Pokemon games as well. Normally, when you trade Kadabra, it evolves into an Alakazam. However, there's an item in the Pokemon games called the Everstone, and when you give it to a Pokemon, it prevents it from evolving. In games that came out before 2006, if you gave your Kadabra when you traded it an Everstone, it wouldn't evolve. But starting with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, for some reason, even if you give your Kadabra an Everstone, it's always going to evolve in trade, even though it shouldn't. This has been happening in every game since Diamond and Pearl, and Kadabra is the only trade evolution Pokemon that this happens with. Every other trade evolution Pokemon, like Haunter into Gengar, won't evolve by trade if you give it an Everstone. There's even a trainer in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum that teases you like this. They ask you to trade them a Medicham for their Haunter, and if you know anything about Pokemon, you'll think you'll be getting a Gengar out of that trade, but no, the Haunter's holding an Everstone. Kadabra is the only one that completely ignores the stone and evolves anyway. Now, very recently, a new trailer came out for Pokemon Sword and Shield and revealed 3 new Pokemon. Galar forms for Zigzagoon, Lanoon, and a completely brand new Pokemon called Obstagoon. And if you take a look at them, they all have a striking resemblance to the rock band Kiss. Galarian, Zigzagoon, and Lanoon have a similar design to Kiss member Paul Stanley's Starchild face paint and stage outfits, especially looking at the coloration and the star pattern on the eyes. Obstagoon seems to be based off of Gene Simmons' demon persona, with similar coloration and that long hanging tongue which is featured in a lot of iconic pictures of Simmons. Even Simmons himself also thinks that he inspired these Pokemon, posting a comparison picture on his Instagram account. In an interview with Newsweek, Simmons commented on this, saying that Pokemon has been a part of our household for decades, ever since our kids first discovered them, and to see Pokemon pay homage to Kiss is flattering. And finally, the last Pokemon we have is Kangaskhan, who is named after Genghis Khan of the Mongolian Empire. Now, for an honorable mention, we have Yungoos and Gumshoos, who have both been noted to have similarities to US President Donald Trump. When asked in an interview with Game Informer, Junichi Masuda said that when designing these Pokemon, they didn't have any intention to make them look like Donald Trump. However, Masuda did later on say in the interview, "I can see why people would think they look similar, especially with the hairstyle." And with that, my friends, you now know 7 Pokemon that are named after and inspired by real people. I'm sure that if you look even deeper, there are more Pokemon that were inspired by people. I've heard some rumors saying that Yamper was inspired by the Queen of England. If you know any more Pokemon that were inspired by people, let me know down in the comment section below. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.